The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good evening and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts Randy and Jackie Rodney right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, send us an email. Our email address is yourhomeyourmoney101@gmail.com. And now, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy and Jackie Rodney.
Hello, y'all. It's a great day.
Hi, sorry about that. That was me. That was me. I just got it turned off. Yeah.
You got your phone turned off?
Yeah.
How come you didn't do that before the show
Yours
started?
is not. Yours don't
Well, how
ring.
do you
Nobody
know?
wants to talk to you.
You don't even know.
Nobody wants to talk to you. So.
Nobody wants to talk to me. My mama does.
Really, huh?
Yep, she does. There we go. I would never do that. I would have turned off my phone long before the show. I was just double checking it to make sure that it was turned off. Because I respect our clients, our listeners.
It'd be nice if you had some respect for me.
Yeah, well, that's hard because you have to earn respect.
Anybody know a good divorce lawyer?
I happen to know one, actually.
Do you?
But it'd be a conflict of interest if they use you. Just saying.
What divorce lawyer do you know?
Yeah, I've been talking with them for quite some time.
So, everybody out there in Radio Land, how's life treating you?
How's life? Okay, so you know what? Buyers are absolutely loving the marketplace. I gotta say, like, they are just saying, you know what? I don't want to continue this negotiation anymore. I don't want to continue it any further. There is no need for me to rush. And they're having the time of their lives. Like, I mean, I haven't really seen buyers have this much power. Back in the early 90s, you know, after that crash, buyers had control, but they were pretty serious when they went after a home. They went after a home, they were serious, they understood market value, they understood what they wanted to pay for that home, and they would go until it either exceeded that or it didn't. And they moved on. They tried to get a deal if the stairs didn't have hardwood or this or that. They tried to get those kind of deals, and they were negotiating, I wouldn't say in good faith, they were negotiating to get the home. Buyers right now, it's not necessarily the case. You know, if you make a mistake and you negotiate hard on the buyer and the buyer doesn't like that feeling, boom, they're gone. They're just loving it right now. And it's interesting because we are kind of seller specialists. We have created, an incredible system for our buyers. I would honestly, in my personal opinion, say it's probably the best seller system out there. Better than the best of the best systems. Because most systems are designed to talk a good game at the beginning so they can get the listing and close to get that listing in the signature. But once they get it, they get back to kind of what I would consider normal real estate. But us, we didn't do that. And hey, I'm not necessarily trying to brag and say, oh, we're the best, all that stuff. But we kind of feel like that's the way it is. Every time we team up with a realtor anywhere, and we usually try to seek out one of the best realtors out there in those areas, because we don't just work our area. We've actually helped people to purchase homes in Newfoundland and in different places, Alberta and things like that. And what we do is we work from here with our clients and we communicate with the client while the realtor in the other province is, or in some cases countries, because we've done like Barbados and things like that, other country are trying to feed us the information that we need to satisfy our client. And our client, it takes a lot to satisfy them because we give our clients a lot. Jack, how easy is it to get that information from those agents?
Get what information?
Oh, so you haven't been listening?
I was reading this article, sorry.
Okay, cool. The information that we give to our clients naturally, and we have
Oh my
other
gosh.
agents from other places, and we're just trying to give our clients even minimal information in some cases.
Yeah, when you co-broker with somebody, it's so frustrating for me because I can't get the info out of them that I want, so I can properly,
Educate the client.
let my client know what's going on, or let my client know what's going on with the listing. And it's tough. It's tough because, like we do a booklet every 2 weeks, and we give to our clients on every single thing that has happened with their home in those 2 weeks.
And the market.
Every website that was hit, how many times it was hit, how many times it was shared, how many showings we had, what the feedback was from each agent.
Who showed it? How many times?
And we call down those agents. We text, email, call,
Usually
message,
takes 12 or 13.
like
It's
nonstop.
insane.
Between myself and Amanda, like we're going at it all the time. And you can't get anybody to give you back any feedback, first of all.
It's hard.
So,
It's challenging.
you almost got to block your number because I guess when they see your name, they already know the listing agent's name because they booked the appointment, so they don't answer.
But we feel an obligation to give our clients
Yeah,
good feedback.
so
we take that quite seriously.
So it's a little frustrating to, yeah.
So-
Needless to
so-
say, I don't know, we met with a realtor out of area.
You don't need to.
I'm not going to, and we showed him
about- they're a
our
top
booklets. We showed him our booklets and what we do for our listing clients and everything, and he's like, wow. He's like, can I keep this? Because he said, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. I said, have it, man. Take it, duplicate it. I
Yeah.
don't care. It's a lot of work goes into it. If you're up to the game, go for it.
R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah, I'm not holding no information
Because
back.
we know we've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours developing our
And
systems.
not only that, you might do it once or twice.
Yeah, but to try
But
to have
now,
a system.
when the listings are not selling in 1-2 weeks like they were, and you didn't even really have to get any feedback, some agents weren't even worrying about that, and now the listings are taking a month or 2 months, and you're doing these reports every 2 weeks, they're not going to keep it up.
It's hard.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of man hours. It's a lot.
is.
It's a lot of thinking, but the clients need that.
They do. They want it.
Well,
they need
it.
to know what's going on.
They
What's
need
going
it.
on with my listing? Like, I'm not hearing from you. Like, that's the biggest complaint that I hear from people is, well, like I was talking to somebody today again, and they're like, well, they listed my friend's house or whatever, the landlord's house, and they haven't heard from her. And now she came, put a different sign on the lawn. She switched agencies, and she's trying. Then she gave them a new listing with another 2 months, and lucky they were savvy sellers, and they said, no, we're not the listing is up at the end of July, and we're not giving you another 2 months. So, you know,
Sometimes it's the agent's fault, and sometimes it's
sometimes, sometimes it's the price. I'm not
Sometimes
saying.
it's the client.
Yeah.
The client's not taking
Yeah.
advice very well. They
Yeah.
believe that they understand what is supposed to happen. And
Yeah.
you're like saying, well, that I understand that may work with Ginsu knives or with used
Oh my gosh,
cars
this
or
is Randy's
something,
new term
but
now.
it doesn't work in real estate in this marketplace. And they're saying, well, that's the way it should be, and that's the way they will be, and they will go outside of all the advice that you give them because they feel that they know what's best for their home, which is perfectly fine. However, the problem is it doesn't work. And buyers, they have options. So if you don't give them something that works, that is actually very competitive,
Oh, jeez.
then they're moving on. I mean, I'm going to say honestly, it is more fun working with buyers than it is with sellers. 100%.
I like working with both, but a lot of agents don't like working with buyers because it's a more timely, takes more of your time, and you're on the road, and you know,
Yeah,
and a
but
lot.
it's
Hold on,
not hard.
I'm not finished. Because
It's
some
warm and
agents get a
fuzzy.
listing, and that's all they do. They don't work to get it sold. They don't work for their clients. So for them, you know, they like the listings better, but listings are, I feel, more work.
So did you actually listen to what I said? I'm just curious. You didn't. Just say it.
I did,
Just
but
like
I
when
forgot
we're at home.
already.
Yeah, just like when we're at home.
No, I have
I
a
say
bad.
something, you argue what you think is opposing thought, and it's actually the same. Just thought I'd mention that.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So-
Thanks, buddy. You're my
so-
bud, hey? Uh-huh.
So,
Thank you.
no problem. So the thing is that yes, listings are a lot harder to work with. They're a lot of work, especially today.
And everybody wants a
Buyers-
bargain.
Buyers are a better play right now in this marketplace. So because of that, we're going to work on creating a superior system for buyers. We already have a really good system because we do educate our buyers very well. But our specialty is sellers. And that's because of me. That's why I've concentrated my effort for many, many years. And we've really worked extremely hard, night and day, believe me, for years to try to get a great seller's process. And it takes time. A lot of people think, oh no, all you gotta do, put the for sale sign in the lawn.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
gotta
you
do,
could.
but that's not to get the seller top dollar. Like if that's all we're doing, let's just charge them $500 and move on. You know, like let's not be charging tens of thousands of dollars. That's not right. So if you're going to charge tens of thousands of dollars, you've got to bring a product that helps to offset that cost so the client makes that money back. And that's how we kind of feel about that whole thing.
Want to
You
do
wanna
some emails
Go
before
ahead.
you get into. Karen says, ouch, WW3, World War III, and we do not even have to listen to the news. Randy and Jackie, well, yeah. You know what, Karen? It's funny because Randy grew up in foster care. So we were foster parents for about 15, 16 years. We fostered kids. And all of our friends, anybody who met us, they're like, you guys need to have a reality show. This is crazy. Like our lives are crazy and we're all over the place and we're always doing something. And it was funny because they're like, but you know, that's not something you can do, even if we want it to, when you have foster kids. You can't open your lives to the public like that, right? But so yeah, we've always been like this, Karen. We just have fun.
Well,
Just fine.
Karen, what it is,
Oh no, Karen, here it
I'm
comes.
just gonna say, and what it is that I have some mental disorders, and my wife has some mental disorders.
And our kids said, why did you two get together when you knew you had all these issues and
didn't
had
know.
children?
we didn't know. Honestly, I only learned of mental disorder after we had kids. It's either someone's crazy or not crazy, and we're not that crazy, but we're very different. Our disorders are on opposite sides of our fence. But one thing that we do have in common, the actual respect to let our differences go.
What the heck
and
is-
know
sorry.
and know in our fullest part of our hearts that the love is there. And because of that, the trust is there. And because of that, we are feeling more comfortable together than apart. And so even though we're such opposites, I'm black, she's white.
What? I'm white?
I'm
Who
big,
told you I'm white?
she's small.
I'm small?
I'm good looking, yeah. So
And I'm gorgeous in that case then.
And so that's just the way it is. So and that's the start of it.
But I think some people
from
don't
there-
some people think we're actually fighting. We're not.
Well, I think
We bicker.
have-
We do bicker a
We
lot.
have a foundation that's strong. The foundation.
We do
is
bicker a
strong,
lot, though, yeah,
Though,
I have to say.
and regardless of if like, she will shake me out of a bad mood. So we'll have a talk or we'll have an argument, and I'm not crazy about what she's saying. I really hate it, and it makes no sense. And not only does it make no sense, but I think if she had this conversation with 70 or 80 or 90% of men, it would make no sense
Oh,
to
with
them
men,
either.
ladies out, did you notice that? With
It's
men.
true, it's
exactly.
true.
If I was talking to a woman, they get it.
I don't know if they would. I just think they'd agree for fun. Because it doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, she's believing it. And then she goes on a tangent of 50 years of her existence to support it, which half of it makes no sense. But I know that she loves me, but maybe it tweaked me in a negative way. She then comes up and she'll ask a question like, do you want a tea? Or whatever, or what is this, or what is that? Like if nothing ever happened, and boom, I'm shocked out of it. Actually, we don't go to bed angry. I only go to bed frustrated, not angry. Because I want my wife every day, and she's not crazy about me that same way.
No, that's not true.
It is.
That is not true.
It is. You hide from me.
No, that is
I
not
see.
true.
I'm walking down the kitchen, you're walking out through the living room.
That's not.
trying to
What
run
the heck?
around.
What? Are you
You're trying to
serious? I
run
can't
the
even
other way.
run with these hips, so I don't even know what you're talking
That's
about.
true. That's true. I'm making
A
this
lie
up, by
right
the way.
there. Liar,
It is
liar.
a lie. It is a
Pants
lie.
on
But what I
fire.
mean is other things like that because I've been looking at you cross-eyed. And I'm like, you're looking good. And then what she does?
Whoa, I
she
gotta
just-
clean the fridge out.
She's got to clean the fridge. She got to do the floor, and she knows if I go to bed, this is a good hour. 5 minutes.
That's okay.
If I don't occupy
You
my
always
mind.
catch me in the morning, so there you go.
So, anyways, interesting.
Yeah, but anyways, we
Thank
got.
you for your email, Karen.
Yeah, Karen, that stirred up a lot of stuff. So we got one from Chris, and Chris says, "Get on with it. We are here. We are listening here in Toronto for the fight. Woo woo. Not the real estate news. Even though it's a buyer's market, not every specific folk can purchase a home. So get on with the entertainment. I don't know. Are we really that entertaining?
I don't know. Not that entertaining. Google doesn't like us at all. But you know what? I think
Google
we-
likes me. She doesn't like you. She protects me when we're in the car.
Yeah, so Google, what I think is that we have been hit by that cancel bug, and our Google channel has been squashed. And so it's really weird because for the last year we have 396, and then we'll go to 398, back to 396.
We
And
can't
so-
hit 400 on YouTube, people. Come on.
And it's just really simple. We have pissed off Google, and I think it was during the elections where we
It's
pissed it
okay.
off. And you know what? I don't think
Our
I
daughter
care.
has tons of followers. We have
But what
under 400.
What we're gonna probably have to do is start our YouTube channel over again, so we don't have that. Oh, yours, because you have to go through a whole thing to correct it all. And now that that big election stuff is over, it's not as polarizing. You know, and so it probably won't be the same. I don't think we're ever going to see as polarizing as a president as Donald Trump is. But what I would like to say in my defense is I really enjoyed the Gallup. Okay, you know, he went from winning to actually being the most hated man on the planet. They were destroying his reputation. He was a Russian spy. They took him off of the ballots in 16 states. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to kill him. They tried everything to do to get this guy out, and then he won. Talk about a heroic, like, storyline. It's insane.
Oh my gosh.
You can't, yeah, the slippers. You can't even you can't write a story like that, I don't think. Especially the things that they did, especially the things that they said. If you spent 1 minute following his meetings and things like that, and then you watch the news, it was like it didn't happen like that. But you know, they were all over him. And not only were they all over him, anybody who actually followed him and saw what he did and then switched sides, they canceled you. And I think that's what they did to our YouTube channel. All of my friends, they hate him to death. Every single black person that I know here in Canada absolutely hated him from the beginning. So much that you can't even talk about it. If you talk about it, you're just an idiot. And so, you know, I am just so glad that the American people got it right, because the opposite, what's going on, and what they say, oh, no one's above the law. But look what they're doing in the United States when they said no one's above law. Oh, the protests are mostly peaceful. I thought nobody was above the law. But meanwhile, these regular gangsters running the streets, looting stores, burning them on fire, it's mostly peaceful? Like, it's just insane. I don't know how you can follow something like that. I don't know how, like, you know, you wear a hockey jersey, and because of that, everything that your team does is okay, is good. And that's what's kind of happening to the Democrats, but it's
Okay,
slowly
enough
shrinking.
politics, enough
Well, yeah,
politics.
we've already lost all of our views because YouTube banned us from that
No,
anyway. So I thought
Sherry
I'd say it.
says, glad to have Jackie back on the show. It brings class. Thank you, Sherry. Sorry, I missed
Why?
some shows.
Why, Sherry?
I suffer from migraines because, you know, if you were watching, I should see me pointing at this man. Yeah, and I can't smile anymore because I have really, really bad TMJ and got Botox in my jaws to try to release some of the headaches I'm having, and now I can't smile. So I'm the laugh in our house now because every time I try to smile, all it is my lip goes up and I show teeth. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
it
it's
actually
weird. I
looks
know.
weird.
It's so.
And I look at you and I go, "What are you doing?" And I realize now you're doing this.
But I'm not. I can't do it anymore. I'll suffer with the pain because it's just. I said I go out with clients and I almost feel like I have to tell them, okay, if I'm not smiling, this is why, because I can't smile. They make a joke or something and I'm just like, and I can't smile. It's like it's bad. Anyways, stay away from Botox.
And even when you do smile, you look like it's just kind of. It's like, what was that?
Oh, Gloria, Randy. Gloria is asking, hello, Real Estate Show. Are these booklets available online to view? The booklets I was talking about that we do for our sellers and everything.
No, because they're personal to the seller,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But you know what we could do? We could ask sellers for, you know, that's interesting, Gloria. We would have to ask them during the listing presentation.
Or
if they
we
would
do
allow
or
for
we
it
do
to
a
be
booklet and we just, you know, cross out personal
All the
information.
information. Yeah. So, but
We could ask Amanda about
some,
that, yeah.
Some sellers wouldn't care.
I don't know. Most people are pretty private like that, honestly. But we could. I mean, you know what? I'd love to show them, Gloria. I'd love to show them to everybody because the amount of effort and work, money and time that goes into them. I'd love for the world to see them, what we do. I mean, right now we are on the cusp of actually doing a video box as well that we'll be giving our
But it
clients.
doesn't show that.
It doesn't
those
show that,
personal details.
but-
Can we ask? Because we would really want to be very obvious with it. We want to tell them, hey, this is what the booklet looks like. You have an option. Do you want to make this publicly available?
We
So
could,
that-
we could.
and then
Yeah, I mean, it
ask-
doesn't hurt. We can ask.
Yeah. And then we'll see.
Yeah.
Because that would help some people to understand.
But like I said, we still could block out their name and everything.
I don't think so, Jack.
But,
Everything is personal. You block out the name, the address, and all that. You're blocking out the feedback, the realtors. It's all relative. It's the number of showings, the number of hits that you get on the website, the actual
Yeah.
feedback on the home, what they said.
Well,
It just-
Gloria, we're
you're
going to
not
see if
seeing
there's
anything.
somehow we can show you a booklet. I'm going to see. I'm going to talk to our assistant and see if there's a way that we can show you kind of what the booklet is about without.
Maybe somebody who has already sold, right? They
Yeah.
might not care, especially if we like send them that booklet and say, hey, look through this. Is it okay if we make this publicly available? Because they've already experienced things, so people can know what you experience. Maybe something like that, Gloria. You know what? We'll try, Gloria, and we're going to make a special note here, and we're going to see if we can send you something. Thank you for your email.
Yeah, and now we got one from Mary, and Mary says, yeah, a reality show would sell. I would listen to it. Yeah, it would get real interesting, Mary.
Here's the thing. I personally am not embarrassed by anything I do. What? I'm not embarrassed by anything I do. Even if I do something wrong, I'm not embarrassed by it.
But you don't get embarrassed.
No, but I don't want to be perfect. I don't want that. You know what? A horse gallops. A rhino does not. Right? So, you got wild dogs, you got hyenas. They're just different. They're not the same. Then you got rabbits and you got, So what animal do you want to be? One animal you love and the other animal you're offended by? It's like, I just am me. And either you're going to love and respect me with all my flaws, or you're not. But I don't care to pretend that I'm something that I'm not.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Tom says, hey, problem solved. Is Randy's disorder not cutting his toenails? That's one disorder, Tom. Not cutting his nails, not doing nothing. Randy likes to be a pampered man. So I am not pampered because there's no pampering going on here. Randy's
You're
the pampered
pampered
one.
in a different way. You're pampered in a different way. Please look at your hair, how beautiful it is. Your nails, your toenails. Look at your clothes. You're looking good. Look at your glasses. Your lip. You're pampered in a different way. Okay. So let's not pretend that you're not. You are.
I don't get my toenails cut by you.
No, of course not. I'm not gonna do that stuff.
I don't get my back rubbed by you.
Right.
Maybe a minute, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's it.
Keep going lower
That's
and
it.
lower. No, that's true. That's true. You're not going to get that from me. If I'm going to give you a massage, it's for a very specific reason. That's that. That's just how my brain works. I'm not going to be able to touch you for 3 or 4 minutes and not, I just how I work.
Well, thank you, sweetheart.
And that's just it. So, we try to pamper in a different way. The different way is you're my queen. I go out, I work hard. I don't mind working 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, I don't mind doing that and giving you everything that I've brought home. I don't mind. And I got nothing. I go out, I'll be out 15 hours, and guess what? I won't eat anything because I'm not grabbing a Wendy's, I'm not grabbing anything. I will eat what she gives me. If it's a mustard sandwich, if it's a slice of bread, if it's a bottle of water, I will eat what she gives me. I'm not going to go
Unless
out
it's a
and
good
eat.
ramen.
I'm not going to go out and buy food. And I'm just loyal
And
like
half
that.
the time he doesn't even have his wallet to buy any
Yeah,
food.
and I don't have anything anyways. I don't know my PIN half the time to my bank. I just don't know I don't care. Those aren't the things I care about.
He doesn't. He'll be at the store trying to buy something, and he'll call me and ask me what his PIN is.
Yeah,
And I'm
so
like, you need,
and that's
like,
because she's asking me to buy something. So we're all sort of different in that way. Yes, I am not the type of person that that will pamper you that way, but I will want you pampered. What is it that you need? And for some women, that's okay, and for other women, it's not. Other women want you to be the one to do the things, which means that you gotta, for someone like me, I've gotta carve time out of work, which means, that's just the way life
Ouch,
is.
you got to carve time out of work for me.
Well,
No, I'm joking. I'm
yeah,
joking.
I mean, it's different.
I've never,
different people
never
see it
been
different
upset
ways.
with you working
No,
24/7.
that's true. But I do know women who have been upset with their husbands working
Oh, I know
too much,
people that
and they
actually
got
get
divorced
divorced.
over that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, really interesting, most realtors end up divorced. And then guess what? They end up marrying a realtor because it's somebody who understands the amount of commitment that job takes from your family life. It is so unfortunate the real estate industry is really, really a time sucker.
But
Agreed-
unfortunately, go ahead.
Do you want to say what you're going to say?
I was going to say, unfortunately, when they marry another realtor, they're both out on the go.
So
Then who's home with the kids?
So the thing is that it's your child's graduation. Very important time. Your phone rings.
No,
Your
let's not go
client
there because I
says-
get angry
the
already.
client says, this house just came out on the market. It's perfect. I gotta go and see it. Oh, can we see it tomorrow? No, I don't have time tomorrow. I gotta see it today. It could be gone. And it's your child's graduation, or it's your child's birthday party, or it's your child's whatever. And here you are running out because your child is very important to you, but this is their family's potential dream. And it's so hard. If you're in love with your job, which, if you're in real estate and you're not in love with your job, you need another career because it's very demanding that way.
Yes, it is.
And unfortunately, you were going out, you're showing your customer, and then you're running to try to
No.
catch your graduation before it ends.
Last
and
weekend,
that's real estate.
Last weekend, we were going to one of our client/friend. Son was getting married, and we were on our way. We were walking out the door. I just got all ready, and my client texts me. And they're like, we really like this house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Just give me a few minutes. I'm ready. I'm walking out the door. It's one of my clients. Her son's getting married. She's like, no hurry. I said, no. You don't understand. I take my computer everywhere. And if I have to whip it out in the middle of the wedding, I'm going to whip it out in the middle of the wedding. Because, now you don't have an excuse. Years ago, it was really hard,
It was
right?
very difficult.
But
back
now,
then.
there's really no excuse for you to not put your clients first, because I take my computer everywhere I go.
And the wonderful thing is we have a team of 5. So
Yes.
if we have, and our children are older, a graduation or a wedding or something like that we have to attend, we have other members that can go and deal with our clients. But we've built that over time. But
I
in
still
the
like
early
to deal with my
parts,
clients myself.
yeah,
but
in the early parts of the real estate career, you just don't have those resources.
Yeah. Okay.
Go
should
ahead.
We,
What about Cody?
oh, we got.
What did Cody say?
Yeah, we got. Oh
What
my
about-
gosh.
What did Cody say?
Hold on, we got a lot of emails.
Yeah, but
Look.
what did Cody say? So what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Cody finds you very attractive.
Nothing wrong with it. You kept at. I was only going
Yeah,
back
but why
to see
didn't
how.
you tell the listeners?
I haven't did it yet.
I read it in my mind. I know you
Okay.
passed it.
Okay, so Cody says, I have seen Jackie's photos online. She is drop dead gorgeous, sexy to the hilt, luscious, and I mean it. Thank you, Cody. When you get over 60, that means over 60. Oh my gosh, you're over 60, not me. When you get over 50, that means a lot. Thank you so much.
So just out of
But
curiosity,
I could
why?
never take compliments for
Yeah,
years and
that's
years.
why you couldn't read that.
Yeah.
So, but why did you go from you being over 60 to me being over 60?
'Cause you are over 60.
I'm younger than you.
You're 61.
Everyone can see on camera.
When were you born? What year?
That's not important. These are irrelevant things.
1964. I was born in 1969.
That's a higher number.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so you're older.
Right. It's
So,
just
yeah,
like
so
when
you're
you told
older.
me the other day when I was turning on the fridge and I was putting it.
You were turning on the fridge? Yeah, you were dancing to the fridge. I'm like,
What? No, I
The
wasn't.
fridge was getting turned on. It was opening the doors and closing
I
the
wa-
freezer, and it was like going.
No, look, see, I can't laugh. Look
you
at
were
this. Like,
turning
stop it.
on the fridge.
No, I had the higher
'Cause
numbers
it
and
was
you
a
were.
Bosch, and you were like excited.
Oh, forget
okay,
it.
go ahead. Yeah, go
Donna
ahead.
says, now you're talking, Randy. Good radio, Trump. We're not going to get Randy on that subject, Donna. Donna, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm tired. Donna. Edward, amen, Randy, right on. Love your take on Trump. Nancy, right. Randy is totally right about Trump and the Democrats, okay. Amen, brother, meaning
was that?
Democrats.
Who was that?
Nancy. Ken says booklets. The booklets should be available online. Are you trying to sell? Correct? So what
No,
happens if a
no.
potential client is out of town looking for a house that you are showing in that particular area? Does it matter if you give the booklet to people anyway? That difference doesn't make it get them online. No, I think what it is,
Personal. Who's that?
it's Ken, the booklets that we're talking about is, some of them have their personal information in it. You know, when you get a client view of a listing, it has no personal information. You don't know who the seller is. I mean, some people may have access to go look it up, but none of that is included. But on the broker view, when we pull it up, a realtor, we get all their information. So there's a lot of information in the booklet. We also have a net sheet that we put in, but we do seal that up
Which
in
is
an
their
envelope. But that's
personal,
very,
very personal.
personal information on, you know, what their net outcome is based on their finances and all that. So that's why we really dig in and make sure that when our client calls us out to sell a home, that they know
They're
if you sell the house and this is what we think, in and around these numbers, this is it. This is what you're going to come out with. So is this the route you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to sell now that you see all these different figures on this piece of paper? So, but we do have booklets that we can put online for people to look
But they're
at.
not specific.
But they're not specific what we're talking
They're
about
generalized.
here. But like, we have many booklets. Do we have any of them online? Do we have like
No, but
dollar?
after this
buy-
show,
Yeah,
after
we're going to
this
work
show,
on it.
I am definitely
Yeah.
going to work on it. I really do like what Ken is talking about and
Yeah.
Gloria had talked about.
Yeah.
And I think that may, and we're going to work it, because Ken, I will tell you one thing about us that's I think one of the differentiators in the industry is that we love great ideas, and we love to work on implementing them. And I think that one of the big differences that we have is that our service level is at a level that is just unheard of in the industry. And if we can make this be known to the public, then the public will actually, there's a portion of the public that will really appreciate that. And so us making it public, I think is really, really important. And I
Yes,
really
yeah.
appreciate Gloria and Ken for, for that feedback. And believe
Yeah.
me, it's not
But-
falling on deaf ears. We're gonna
No.
really work it.
But I think the other thing with us is that, yeah, we're trying to sell, but we're trying to sell our clients' home. We're not trying to
Right.
sell ourselves to the public.
Right.
And that's something that we've never been good at. We have tried to go outside of our little sphere of, referrals. We've tried it several times and spent quite a bit of money monthly trying to do it. We are just not good with that. We
No.
are the type of team that we wait for people to approach us. We'd
Yeah.
love to change that, and that's why we're saying, well, maybe
would
we
be
should
nice.
look at how we can get these things out there to the public. Because I think if the public saw what we do, they
Yeah.
would wonder why they're not getting those
A
services
portion
as well.
of the public would
Yeah.
love it. There's
Yeah.
another portion that wants the heavy sales, slick salesman that's gonna whatever. There's a
I
portion
can't
for
do
that.
I can't.
But there is a difference between, that slick salesperson and a top negotiator. There is a big difference between
Yes,
them.
yes.
So we do very serious negotiations and have a very serious negotiation system when we get to an offer process. And then we have this system prior to that that shines the house in the best possible light, giving the clients the ability to deep dive into that house so they can form an emotional attachment. So we have these processes that we do as opposed to what is normal in real estate, which is trying to market ourselves to look for that next client and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't blame them. That's
You
the
won't
way.
actually see us out there like
Yeah,
that.
well, that's not who we are. But what Gloria and Ken are asking for and what they're saying really does speak to clients
Yes,
in a way by saying, hey, look at this. Look at what we could get from these people that other people wouldn't invest that
Well-
time because they're spending too much time trying to get new clients.
Yeah.
Whereas we spend our time servicing our clients, and
I mean,
there's something
we've
there
had-
that Jack.
We've
there's-
had many people come to our open houses, and honestly, a lot of people, when they come to their open house, they've either sold their house or they're in the midst of selling their house. That's why they're out looking.
And they
right?
say, "Holy
And they're like,
smokes."
oh my gosh, if I didn't already have a realtor, I would want you to come and sell my house.
Just because of our open house, like not because of anything else, not because we had a meeting with them
Yeah.
or any of that. It's just because what they've seen at the open house is just
Yeah.
so different. And
we
what I
tried
mean,
very hard.
And
We
what
do.
I mean by different is that it's different in the sense of the amount of work that has gone into the preparation to show the house in the best possible light with the magazines and with the for sale sign, which is different because there's a custom for sale sign for every single house.
And they just get thrown out
And they
unless
get
the seller
thrown out
wants
because
it.
they're
but-
only for that house. It's only got images of that house and information about that house, and it's got a 20-page brochure about that house, and it's got the QR code for that house. So it's got, everything there is for that house, and then when they walk in, then they can have, that feature sheet that tells them for that house, and then we have the prizes for people to register so if they give feedback to the seller, because the number one thing that the seller wants is feedback on what people think about their home so they can make some of those changes. So what we've done is we've designed a system to optimize our opportunity of getting feedback, and and that's it's just like for us
Wow,
it
you're
makes
really
sense.
loud in my ear. Woo,
Oh,
gotta
really?
turn you down.
Well, you know what? I'm really glad because usually you don't hear me.
Sure. No, I hear you. I just choose to pretend I don't. Ken says, funny, Randy is so funny. I know what the message means. Jackie seems to be pampered as well. I am. listen, I stayed home for 15 years with my children. I'm pretty pampered. I will say that. I have no complaints whatsoever.
But I do it in a different way than you do it for me.
Oh, well, here we go. So here's the thing. Paul says, my answer. Randy, life is short. Spend more time with your wife and not doing stupid real estate things that are causing most realtors to go broke. Deliver skip the dishes. You would make more. An average skip the dishes driver makes $1,100 per week. I have to tell you, Paul, if we spent any more time together, they might as well sew us together, because
We'll go bankrupt with $1,100 per week, though.
oh my gosh,
Holy
yes.
smokes, that's not going to pay anything.
No,
but
I need to make more
appreciate-
than that a day, but yeah.
But we appreciate what you're saying,
Yeah,
Paul.
and we
understand.
do. I mean, we work together. We've always worked together. For 30 years, we've been together. We very rarely are apart. So we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot.
We're kind of best friends, and we run everything by each other, whether it's good or bad. You know, that's the wonderful thing.
And our kids are like that too, actually.
Yeah, they share.
Our kids come
good or bad.
come to us about anything and everything, and yeah, we're kind of a very close knit family like that.
It's interesting. Yeah.
We're very honest with each other.
It
that's
is
for sure.
interesting.
It is. I don't know very many families like it. It's definitely a dynamic that a lot of people don't understand either when they see it. But
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's good. Everything's good and bad. It's not right
Yeah.
for everyone, but
Yeah.
it works for us.
yeah. And Joe says hello to Randy and Jackie. Hi, Joe. Viva la Trump. Randy is right on. Tommy. Hello to the real estate folks. Like the show from Hamilton, Ontario. Thanks, Tommy. Up there, I saw the home in Hamilton actually a few months ago. Yeah. The booklet. Brett says, Randy and Jackie, that booklet idea, putting them online, is an amazing idea. Just omit the personal info that you cannot publish. A lot of folks go online to research things, especially property. That would be a win-win. Thanks. You know what,
Yeah,
Brett?
thank you.
You're
I
right.
just don't think we can eliminate enough
We just-
personal stuff. We
yeah.
have to get their permission, and
Yeah.
that's basically.
We're
but
not
thank you.
good at seeking out clients anywhere other than referrals, unfortunately. I mean, if we were, I'd be laughing, but
Yeah,
not
but
good at
but I do agree with Brett in that people would probably like
oh yeah.
to see that.
Well,
and yeah.
look at it. A lot of buyers out there, believe it or not, are young couples, and they outsource everything online. They check you out online. They check everything. We've never really had a big online presence. We
No.
still don't. I've never asked. I only started when we got a coach that was really tough on us and was like, you need to get Google reviews. You need to get reviews. I've never asked anybody for a review. We have a lot of, what do you call them? Testimonies on video.
Yeah,
Because
on video.
a few years ago, we had someone that worked with us, and they would go out to the homes. They were a closing
interview
manager.
our clients.
And they went out for closing, made sure that, you know what, does the client need boxes? Do they need labels? What do
Yeah.
they need? And at that time, if the client was up to
Yeah.
it, they would do an interview
I wanna get
with
back
her,
to that. That was awesome.
talking about the services and how they felt about everything. So years ago, we have tons of those, but I've never really asked for Google reviews, and I only started the last year, and I'm still not great at it. I don't know. I'm not good at asking for things. I'm good at giving, but I'm not good at asking. That's something I need. You're really good at asking.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we click. I'm a giver, he's a taker.
Ouch. That hurt. Is that it for the emails?
Oh my gosh, for right now, yeah. I'm
Holy
throwing
smokes,
stuff on the
man.
floor now.
9, 10, 11, 12,
We love
13,
all these
14, 15,
emails,
16. Yay, baby.
Love all these emails. Thank you so much, everything you guys have to say. We appreciate it, and we do listen, and some of these ideas are amazing, actually.
Yeah.
And it's something that we should probably work on doing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Were you going to throw in some figures or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, how much time do I
You got 10, 11 minutes.
11 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
what can you do in 11 minutes?
Well,
Come on.
you know, I can do this in 1 minute, but I won't. So here's the thing. We are now in the month of June, so we're in the summer months.
The middle of
is-
June.
Are we in the middle?
Sorry, yeah,
Okay. We're
yeah.
in the middle of June.
Past the middle.
That is the slow months for real estate. The spring is a little bit more robust, and the winter again is slower. And what happened was February came out with a boom, and then it just started to slow down from there. As a matter of fact, May, which is typically a pivot month, so for us to have 13% down in sales, that is not necessarily such a big deal because May is a pivot month. It can go either way. It can go up, it can go down. But because the spring was going down, it's pretty obvious that May will be a negative month. And so we have negative 13.3% sales in May. Now, the
Is that
average price,
Month over month or year?
that's year over year. Everything I'm talking about is year over year,
Okay.
okay? Y over Y. So if sales are down and new listings are up 14%, and then active listings are up 41.5%. You have sales down, you have new listings and active listings both up. You got almost 50% more inventory than you had the year before, but your sales are down. What do you think is going to happen to average price? Well, in this case, it's down, and it's down 4%. Some people will say, well, it's only down 4% with active listings up 41%, with sales down 13%. So average price
But
being
put all
down
that
4%
together.
doesn't matter. But look at the marketplace. If you had $1 million home for sale and it's now worth $960, that's a big, big, big loss. Especially if you're on the market trying to sell for $1 million and you can't because your home's only worth $960, but you need $1 million to get out of it safely without cutting a check. And then what's even worse is that next month it may decline again. So you lost $40,000 this month, and next month you may lose another 10 or 5 or 17 or 20 or 40. And so that's kind of what's happening to the marketplace for sellers. But for buyers, this is heaven. Like that $1 million house that I've been eyeing is now actually in my price range. And it's now worth $940, which is kind of more in the range where I needed to be. And so I'm going to try to pick it up for $900. And that's where the marketplace is at. And guess what happens if that seller says no to $900 for that buyer? They move on to another listing because there's 41.5% more inventory than there was last year. So buyers have more choice. They're seeing more inventory. They have lower prices with a lower price trend, which if sellers don't sell today at this price that they're offering, next month that price doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. And if the seller is in a bad situation because the interest rates were really low 5 years ago and now they're much higher and they're paying, instead of $5,000 a month, they're paying $8,000 a month, $7,500 a month instead of their $5,000, they are in a really, really bad spot. And so therefore, the bank is going to take over the home, and they're not going to say, oh, I'm not giving to the buyer at what they want. They will do that for the first 15 days, then 30 days, then 45 days, and they're selling it. And so that's where we're going to start to see prices come down. Bankruptcies are up, foreclosures are up, power of sales are up. I shouldn't say foreclosures, I should say power of sales are up. And that's just what's happening to the marketplace. And as that becomes a bigger part of our inventory, that's when you're going to see prices really take a dive. Because prices are typically based off of the previous sales. And if the previous sales are low because they have to get rid of that inventory, that diminishes your chances of getting what you would want as a regular price.
I got a
and-
couple emails.
And so that's, yeah, let me finish this off. We'll get to the couple of emails in a minute. So now if we were look at the indicators, so we got months of inventory, which is actually missing from here. Can you pull back up my market watch there? So we got sales to new listing price, and I notice here months of inventory, and I'm add that in because Jackie's gonna pull that up for me.
I don't know where you had it though. Oh,
Yeah, so
there.
Sales to new listing ratio is at 34.9%, and 34.9% is a buyer's market, which means that all the indicators, the supply and demand indicators, are coming together at a point on the graph which says that buyers have the strongest negotiation position in the marketplace. And so the months of inventory is 4.3 months of inventory, which is now, it's still in a balanced marketplace, but it's moved to the tip of a buyer's market. So it's been slowly moving and inventory is slowly gathering, and now buyers are having more and more choice, and months of inventory is moving in that direction. It's still kind of balanced. So we have sales to new listing ratio that is in the buyer's favor, in the buyer's market, saying that buyers statistically have an advantage over sellers. And then we have months of inventory, which is quickly moving from a balanced market into a buyer's market. And so what we're seeing here is clear that we are entering into a territory where we're going to have a downward pressure on price. And the property days on market being up 44%, that means that it's taking 44% longer to sell a property this year than it did last year. So we're almost at 40 days. I believe we're at 39 days to be able to sell a property if you have positioned it properly. If you haven't, it's not selling, because overall, on the Toronto Real Estate Board, overall, let's look at this. I believe we're 1 in 5. Number of sales is 6,244, and the number of inventory is 30,964. So we're looking at 6, 12, 24, 30. So we're looking at 1 in 5 homes are selling, 4 in 5 homes are not selling. And that's my market update.
Okay, so we got 3 minutes. Irene says, hey, did Randy have a good Father's Day?
Yeah, awesome. One of the best ever. Yeah, it's always good. Thank you, Irene.
And Robert says, hey, when is Jerry Lewis back on? I think Leon
and-
said the third Tuesday of every month he's going to come on.
Something like that. Who is that, Robert?
No, yeah. I think he said the third Tuesday he would set aside.
Third or last? The last.
Yeah, it was one of those each month, and he's going to come on. Yeah, he's a good sport. He is. Yeah. Carol says we would be into that online booklet. That would be very cool. Never seen anything like that.
Okay.
You know what? That we really got to get on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of support for it. So it just makes it obvious,
yeah,
a
we got to get
no-brainer.
on to
Thank
that.
you,
And
Carol.
we're basically out of time. Take us out.
This has been your home, your money, and our lives on realityradio101.com. Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy and Jackie Rodney, right here on Reality Radio 101.